The baby was calm. The Bernese Mountain Dog was not. And no one in that room had yet understood why. Everything in the living room was where it was supposed to be. Nadia Okafor had designed the space around the specific physics of an 8-month-old who had recently learned to army crawl with alarming efficiency. Soft mat, no floor-level cords, furniture edges padded, outlet covers installed. She had done this methodically, the way she did most things, room by room, a week before Leo came home from the hospital. She was a hospital administrator. She understood risk management. She had managed risk for 9 months. What she had not managed was the TV remote that slipped off the armrest at 3:17 p.m. on a Wednesday afternoon while she was answering a work message. It hit the carpet and the battery compartment popped open on impact, a hairline crack in the plastic housing that had been developing for months finally giving out. She heard it fall. She did not look immediately. The message was time-sensitive. 6 seconds. She looked up in 6 seconds. The remote was on the floor. Leo was on the mat across the room, looking at his board book. Everything was fine. She went back to the message. She was almost done when Atlas moved. Their Bernese Mountain Dog was 3 years old, 95 pounds, and he had a way of moving through the house that she described to people as deliberate, like he was always conscious of where his weight was going. He was lying by the window. Then he was not. He crossed the room in a straight line to the TV remote on the carpet, positioned his body between the remote and Leo's mat, and sat down facing the baby. He did not look at the remote. He looked at Leo. He exhaled through his nose, slow and low. If you stay for stories about what animals notice before we do, you are in the right place. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Nadia thought he wanted the remote. He sometimes picked up objects. She said no, firmly. He didn't move toward the remote. He stayed seated between it and Leo, watching the baby. Leo had looked up from his book and was now watching Atlas with the focused attention babies bring to large moving things. Leo began to push himself forward on his belly. Atlas shifted his weight slightly. Not blocking aggressively, just present, the way a wall is present. Nadia put down her phone. She came over and reached for the remote. The battery compartment was open. She looked inside. 2 batteries seated in the negative terminal slots. The positive terminal slots, 1 battery, 1 empty space. She looked at the carpet around the remote. She looked at the mat. She thought about 6 seconds. She thought about an 8-month-old who could cover 3 feet in under 6 seconds when motivated. She thought about what Leo did with small objects when he found them. She was a hospital administrator. She knew what a button battery ingestion looked like from a clinical incident perspective. She had read the protocol. She had filed the report forms. She found the CR2032 battery behind the left rear leg of the coffee table. It had rolled there when the remote hit the carpet. She found it by getting on her hands and knees with her phone light and searching the floor section by section. It was 19 millimeters across. It was the exact diameter of Leo's trachea, measured at the narrowing of the esophagus, which she had read once in a safety report and which she had not thought about until she was holding the battery in her palm, and her hands were not completely steady. She picked up Leo and held him and sat on the floor next to Atlas and didn't move for a while. Has your dog ever positioned themselves between your child and something on the floor that turned out to be dangerous? Tell us in the comments. These stories deserve to be heard. Button batteries are the fastest-moving pediatric ingestion emergency in residential settings. The 3-volt lithium current generates hydroxide ions at the point of contact with esophageal tissue within 2 hours of lodging. The chemical burn is ongoing and accelerating. There is no visible symptom at ingestion. A child who swallows a button battery looks exactly like a child who has not. The window from ingestion to irreversible damage to the esophagus is measured in hours, not days. The emergency room rate for this injury is rising annually. It is the reason pediatric hospitals have rapid response protocols for battery ingestion calls. It is preventable by keeping button batteries out of reach and by keeping battery compartments sealed. Both of these things are true and both of them require a human to have caught the remote falling in the first place. Atlas had caught it. She had not. Nadia sealed the battery compartment with electrical tape. Then she replaced the remote with one that had a screw-secured battery compartment. Then she went through every device in the house with a battery compartment. 6 devices had the kind of pop-open cover the TV remote had. She replaced all of them. She had done a full room-by-room safety audit before Leo came home. She had not audited battery compartments. She had not thought about battery compartments. Atlas had given her 6 additional seconds that she had not used, and he had given her something she had thought she already had, which was a complete picture of the floor. Every guardian deserves to be recognized, even the ones who never asked for anything in return. Subscribe so you never miss the next one. Atlas still has the spot by the window. Leo is 11 months old now, and has graduated from army crawling to a lurching upright shuffle that covers more ground and finds more things. Atlas walks beside him when he moves. Not behind him, beside him, shoulder aligned with the boy's hip, moving at exactly his pace. Nadia stopped describing it as following. She started describing it as accompanying. There is a difference, and she knows what the difference is now.